Okay, so getting back into our coverage over World War Hulk, right? I told you guys in the last video that my goal is to cover the whole entire thing. That means the main storyline, the tie-in, anything we can that ties into the idea of World War Hulk to give you guys possibly an omnibus video down the road. With that being said, we're going to pick up with, well, World War Hulk versus the X-Men. Now, this is very important because it's all about Charles Xavier. Because, guys, for Charles Xavier, he was also part of the Illuminati. But let's not forget, it was the Illuminati who had decided to send the Hulk away because they felt like he was too dangerous to have on Earth. And so they sent him away. The thing is, Charles Xavier wasn't there when it came to the Illuminati making that vote. And that's why in the opening pages of the storyline is really more of us seeing Tony Stark having a conversation with Charles Xavier about the idea of like, hey, listen, man, I need you to have Havoc and Polaris, who are currently with the Shi'ar Empire, to watch over the universe or our area of the universe to make sure the Hulk does not come back. And you have Charles kind of wondering, wait, what do you mean if the Hulk doesn't come back? Where is the Hulk? And so it's Iron Man informing Charles about what the Illuminati had did when it came to the Hulk. But it's now also Iron Man asking like, hey, Charles, what would you have done with your vote when it came down to the Hulk? But it's doing kind of switch over to the present day without getting an actual answer. And so now we kind of transition to the present day with Charles Xavier using Cerebra and trying to realize that thanks to House of M, thanks to the Scarlet Witch, that right now across the world, you almost don't have the mutant race around anymore. Like, thanks to the Scarlet Witch, taking away the powers of mutants around the world for the most part, is him kind of realizing that mutants right now are an endangered species at the moment. And then you have the book switch over to Beast to kind of show Beast right now training the new X-Men around this time in Marvel's timeline. Now, for Beast, while doing that, really all of them, they kind of realized that the Sentinels that were assigned by the Office of National Emergency have just been called away. Now, they were there because, again, this is the idea of the Scarlet Witch took away the powers of mutants around the world for the most part, down to only 198 mutants in the world, that most of the mutants are being kept at Charles Xavier School, but thanks to the Office of National Security, they allow some Sentinels to help protect the remaining mutants in the world who are at Charles School. Well, out of nowhere, they just got called away. And so you have Beast turn on the TV. And so you have the Beast go ahead and turn the TV on. And so when Beast does that, what he sees right now is the same kind of message we had saw earlier when it came to the Hulk, arriving back to Earth, saying like, hey, listen, I was tricked by the Illuminati. They had sent me away. And then, hey, you know what? My wife and unborn child died. Yeah, so I came back here to get revenge on those people. So, Reed Richards, Iron Man, Black Bolt, Doctor Strange. Oh, yeah, by the way, Black Bolt, yeah, I already beat him down. He looks like this. So y'all have 24 hours to evacuate the city before I come for y'all too. I only want them instead. And so for Beast, he begins to freak out. Because when Beast looks outside the window, Homeboy sees the Hulk right there asking for Charles Xavier. So you have Beast say, you know what? Let's go ahead and send away all the lower class students somewhere else, somewhere away from here where they'll be safe while, me and the new X-Men here will try our best to fight against the Hulk. But before he does that part, he's all like, hey, listen, guys, you have to understand this is a different kind of Hulk. Like, this is the Hulk who's going to beat you down and not going to stop. This is a Hulk who might possibly kill you as well. Like, this is the real thing. And so for the new X-Men, they're kind of like, hey, Beast, we understand. Let's go. Let's do this. Now for Beast, his first part is at least try to, communicate with the Hulk. And it doesn't really work at all. Like, for what, 2 to 3, 4 panels, you have the Beast try to talk to Hulk. But once the Hulk asks again, like, where is Charles Xavier? I want him now. Beast says no. Hulk smacks Beast away. And you have the new X-Men trying their best to fight against the Hulk. Now, there is this character known as Elixir, right? He was kind of a new character around this time in Marvel Comics. But for Elixir, he is capable of controlling the biological structure of his own other people's bodies down to the genetic level. So he's able to turn off the Hulk's like healing factor. And they're kind of hoping that with that being gone, they might have a fair chance to defeat the Hulk. Yeah, for the Hulk, Homeboy still fights and beats down almost every single member of the new X-Men team. Now, the main X-Men team will be here soon. For the time being, they are away. Now, on this new X-Men team, you do have some, I say, okay, hard hitters, right? Like, for example, you have Dust, Rockslide, Surge, Mercury, Hellion. Oh, also X-23. And with her being there, it's kind of a two-part plan. With Elixir, taking away the Hulk's healing factor, and the way she fights, X-23 fights like Wolverine, very brutal, it should kind of give them the edge over the Hulk. It doesn't work at all. You have the Hulk just being able to beat down on every single member of the new X-Men. And the thing is kind of like, okay, you know what? The new X-Men honestly did not stand a chance at all because these are young kids who are now being forced to work together as a superhero team to now fight against the Hulk, who's right now at a whole new level of rage, a whole new level of strength right now. Like they're nowhere near his level. They would never stand a chance at all. And so with them being defeated, it's kind of like, dang, who can stop the Hulk now from getting to Charles Xavier? Well, luckily, the big guns come in, the main X-Men team being led by Cyclops. But before you have the main X-Men team begin to fight against the Hulk, you did have Charles walk out. And when Charles walks out there, it's Charles being like, hey, listen, let's right now stop the fighting and let me try to talk to the Hulk. And it's really more Charles saying like, you know what, the Hulk may be the strongest there is, but I have a powerful mind. And so you have Charles look into the mind of the Hulk. And once he does that, he learns everything the Hulk had went through out there on Sakaar. And so once you have Charles learned everything, it's the Hulk saying, hey, listen, dude, I know that you weren't there when it came to them voting on what to do with me. But I came here because I want to know, how would you have voted when it came to me, Charles? And so you have Charles say, like, listen, Hulk, even though I don't agree in what they did to you, I believe what they did was wrong. At the same time, I also do agree what they did was right. And the reason why, because we should send you away, but not forever, only until we are able to find a cure for you. Now, for the Hulk, that's the wrong answer. But it's Charles saying, listen, for right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn myself in as a way to protect the X-Men. But at the same time, kind of feel like I should, even though I did nothing wrong because, well, my fellow members of the Illuminati did do something wrong. And so you have Charles say, I'll go as your prisoner. Scott says, hold up. Even though right now we don't like you, Charles, because around this time in Marvel Comics, a lot of different dark secrets of Charles Xavier just popped up left and right. So the X-Men right now, they don't trust Charles at all. But at the same time, they're still going to protect Charles. So Scott's saying like, yeah, you know what? You ain't going with him. We're going to fight here for you. And let me tell you right now, the battle is amazing. Now, for Emma Frost, she does go out of her way to stop Charles because for Charles, he had to use his powers to stop the X-Men from fighting against the Hulk, right? Now, once she does join the battle, the Stephen Cuckoos take over for Emma Frost to make sure that Charles can't use his powers on the minds of different members of the X-Men to stop them from fighting against the Hulk. With that being said, you also had Kitty Pryde go out of her way to face his hands into the ground. Now, they believe at first that may have crippled him. Not at all. The Hulk's like, nah, man, I'm still coming strong and tell you right now, y'all are about to get y'all butt kicked for real. But while the battle is going on, you then had Stepford Cuckoos go out of their way to call in backup. So, like, for example, X Factor, Excalibur, more X-Men, like all these different teams being called in right now to help out with this situation because right now the Hulk is just beating down on everyone at the moment. Now, around this time in Marvel Comics, when it came to Excalibur, the Juggernaut was part of that team. So with him being there, when they got the call, he's all like, I gotta go. Charles still my brother, no matter what. So you have the Juggernaut go out of his way to pick up the gem of Sidorak to be teleported over to the mansion. But back at the mansion, the battle does continue on. And like it's the Hulk showing that he's not your savage Hulk. This is the man who's now thinking of every different ways to take out each member of the X-Men. Emma Frost, stick her in the ground and leave her there, right? Colossus, he tries his best to fight against the Hulk. Man, I feel bad for Colossus because this man does try his best, but you didn't have the Hulk grab both hands and just break both the arms of Colossus. So just like that, he's also now taken out of the battle. Now, Wolverine jumps in, right? And this is a massive callback because for Wolverine, he first appeared in Hulk comics. So it makes a lot of sense for him to be here right now and trying his best to fight against the Hulk. Keyword there, I say, guys, trying. Because honestly, the Hulk's all like, Wolverine, listen, man, I know who you are. Been fighting for years, blah, blah, blah. This time it's different. And you have the Hulk just take Wolverine and beat him down over and over and over again. And just like that, Wolverine is taken out of the picture. Now, for the Juggernaut, he does jump in, right? And at first, you would think like, okay, this should be a massive battle, right? Because it's the Juggernaut fighting against the Hulk. Around this time, Marvel Comics, things were done a tad bit different. And the reason why, because for the Juggernaut, the gem of Sidorak was weakened. Not only the gem, really more the Juggernaut. And the reason why, because for the Juggernaut, he was no longer doing anything the gem wanted him to do. And so over time, he got weaker and weaker. So it does seem like he's not back at full power to actually stand a chance fighting against the Hulk at the moment. So right now, it is him getting his butt kicked by the Hulk. But the second chapter does close on the note where it's us seeing the Hulk being confronted by the other X-Men team. Because, of course, as you all know, there's always like 2 to 3 different X-Men books. Uncanny X-Men is one of them. So this team is the Uncanny X-Men team right now appearing and hoping they can stop the Hulk. And so now we're just seeing, again, more fighting happening between the Hulk and all these different members of the X family. Like all these different X teams are trying their best to fight against the Hulk. And the Hulk is being able to take on almost every single member of the X-Men very easily. Now, when it comes to Strong Guy, man, I haven't seen Strong Guy in a while when it comes to our coverage over the X-Men because after his run on X Factor, Homeboy just disappeared. But for Strong Guy, he has the ability to absorb kinetic energy, right? So when it comes to the Hulk punching him, he absorbs it and gets stronger and stronger. The problem is that for Strong Guy, his heart cannot take on too much mass, too much energy all at once. But also it's the Hulk. So every time Hulk punches, it's releasing a lot of energy in those punches. So Strong Guy really can't handle the punches coming from the Hulk. So easily taken out because of that factor right there. Then you have Nightcrawler going out of his way to teleport the Hulk not too far from the mansion, but just far enough to allow the rest of his X-Men team to drop the Blackbird right on top of the Hulk. And man, it's so funny because they're like, yeah, I think we're good now, guys, right? Hulk's all like, no, no, your guys are not good at all. Like that, not gonna lie to you guys, made me a tad bit angrier now. Now, getting back over to the Juggernaut, he made a deal earlier with Sidorak, like, hey, you know what, I'll do you say as long as you help me out when it comes to fighting against the Hulk. But you have the Juggernaut saying, like, why am I still weakened from earlier? It's Sidorak saying, because you didn't come here to, like, save your brother. I want you to show the world the real you, the real reason why you came here for. And he's kind of like, yeah, you're right. I didn't come here to save my brother. I came here to beat down the Hulk, to show the world who I truly am. And so when you have the Hulk like getting closer and closer to grabbing Charles Xavier, you do have like other members of the X-Men, including Wolverine, trying their best to stop him once again. But the Hulk just sends Wolverine flying away. Nothing can stop the Hulk. And then here comes the Juggernaut. Round 2, like, okay, this could be somewhat interesting, right? And the thing is, in the past, when he came to the Juggernaut, he won all those battles in the past against the Hulk. It's the Hulk saying, like, the past is dead. Like, I'm here for a new way, a new game, a new play. So, like, tell you right now, get out of my way so that I can get to Charles Xavier. Because now for the Hulk, he's all like, you know what? I always hear that saying, nothing can stop the Juggernaut, right? So he just pushes Juggernaut for a direction and say, keep going until you are able to stop yourself. So he's just running towards a direction until he's officially able to stop himself. But with them now out of the way, it allows the Hulk to finally get to Charles Xavier. But you then have Mercury point out that for Charles, they're already living their own kind of hell. And the reason why, because for Charles, the whole event of House of M happened, where you basically had like a lot of mutants across the world lose their powers. Some of those mutants lost their powers while using their powers in different kind of ways, like, being underwater, being in a volcano, flying in the air, and then dying in those different kind of situations. But also, like, you have folks out there, mutants, who were killed off because, again, mutants are hated on in this world. So it's really her saying, look around. We are living in our hell. We are now an endangered species. And for the Hulk, he says, you know what, Charles? I'm going to go ahead and leave you alone. And the reason why, because I feel like you, my friend, not really friend, but you, my dude, are technically living in hell already. And you have the Hulk leave. And his main goal right now is to still go after the rest of the Illuminati who, did him wrong.